And now we're going to take a look at the job qualifications to become the President of the United States. As we have already learned in this class, in order to be President of the United States, one must be a natural born citizen. That is to say, either born on American territory or to one parent who is an American citizen. It's important to recall that this is the only thing that a natural born citizen can do that a naturalized citizen cannot. Other than that, citizens are citizens, period. A second job qualification is that a person must be 35 years old to become President of the United States. It was 25 years old to be a representative, 30 years old to be a senator, but 35 to be President of the United States. And a person must have lived in the United States for 14 years during their lifetime. Now, this does not mean that it's the 14 years immediately prior to the election. It's just 14 years over their lifetime. What that allows is for ambassadors who have been living overseas to come back to the United States and potentially run for president, or maybe military personnel who have been stationed overseas can come back to the United States and run for president. And these are the only three job requirements that we have in the U.S. Constitution. You will notice there's nothing in here about gender or race or even education. Do you realize that you do not need to go to college in order to be qualified to be president? There's also nothing in here about convicted felons. These are the only three job qualifications that there are to become President of the United States. When it comes to the president's term and compensation, we need to know that the president is elected to a 4-year term in office. 4-year term in office. For the flashback, the representative is 2 years, the president is 4 years, and the senator is 6 years. A 4-year term in office. Now, the tradition of serving only 2 terms began with George Washington, who believed that 2 terms was all any person really should have in this particular office. And then that all changed in the 1930s when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected a record 4 times. After Roosevelt's term of office, the 22nd Amendment was passed. And the 22nd Amendment limits the president to 2 full terms. I always remember this by 22 as 2 terms. 2 for 22, all 2s straight across the board. So, the 22nd Amendment limits the president to 2 full terms or up to 10 years. Wait a minute. Is something wrong with my math? It would seem that way because 2 terms of 4 years would be a total of 8 years. However, if a person becomes president by succession, that is to say, coming after a president who has perhaps died in office, they can then run again 2 times, provided they have not served over 2 years of the previous president's term. The president's salary is $400,000 a year, which might seem like quite a bit of money to average folks like me and you. However, if we consider all that the president does and the importance of his particular job, we might quickly assess that he is grossly underpaid. After all, many people in the private sector make a lot more money than the president does. Also, we need to know that the president has to pay taxes on his salary, just like me and you. But he does get some pretty cool perks. For example, the president does have a travel account that does not come out of his regular paycheck, so he can afford to take trips, travel around the United States, travel around the world to take care of either business or personal things. He also has an expense account, an account that he can use to pay for things that are important to his job that do not come out of, that are not budgeted for in the regular congressional budget. He also gets residence at the White House. Remember, the president does not have to pay rent when he lives and works out of the White House. Yes, this guy gets to work from home. The president has a personal staff of up to 500 people to take care of the White House and his needs. The president also has a security detail. The Secret Service is responsible for protecting the president, protecting his life and his family's lives while he's in office and also after. The president has a vacation estate that's called Camp David, a place where he can get away from it all and escape the eyes and ears of the American press. And he also has a team of medical personnel, the best doctors on call 24/7 to help keep the president healthy. The president also has air travel on Air Force One. That's his jumbo jet that he can travel around from place to place. And when he's on Air Force One, he has access to everything that he would have access to as if he were in the Oval Office. Those people can say that the president can run the government from Air Force One. He also has limousines to take him around that are very, very well armored and protected. And the president also has a more local air travel on Marine Corps One. That's his helicopter that we always see parked in front of the White House. And of course, the president has a pretty nice retirement package. The president makes over $200,000 a year simply for being a former president. He also has a pretty nice medical benefit package, and he also gets Secret Service detail for the rest of his life. Next, we're going to take a look at how somebody gets this job.